Hey, howdy, hey, you're on with the Juice Man, and this is Boat Game. I got a look for you this morning at the brand new Tier 7 American heavy cruiser, the Congress. It's available for 20,000 quadrans, the new event currency, in the shop right now. The commander, I've got my 16-4 bote with Scott and Luyen's inspirations, no fly zone, igniter, punch through, fixated, refill stations, my standard American cruiser build. We're running sonar, radar, and an epic battle booster just for that first day. We got 51,150 hit points. We got 7 305mm guns, so it's basically 7 Alaska guns. 5 in the front, 2 in the back. With my build, they're reaching out to 16.5 kilometers. Could be more, but I was running AA skills just in case it got a carrier game, being a tier 7. And a 16.2 reload on this build. 35.5 seconds to turn those guns, 4,300 maximum HE alpha with a 30% fire chance, 10,146 AP alpha on a Citadel. Secondaries reach out to 5.8, pretty non-consequential. On this build, I got an 81 score for AA. I got 20 20mm, I got 28 40mm, and then I got 12 dual-purpose 127s. Decently maneuverable, it goes 34 knots, flips the rudder in 12.5 seconds. Pretty big turning circle, but it's a big cruiser. And concealed to 11.3 kilometers, 7.1 in the air. It's got a 27mm bow and stern, pretty standard for a tier 7 American cruiser. It's got decently heavy sides, 229 on that belt, and then 28 above it. And the deck, 36. Not poorly armored at all for a tier 7 American heavy cruiser. Got big guns, it's tough, superior AP damage because they're Alaska guns. The variant of the large cruiser project with 7 12-inch guns as her main battery. She was similar to the Alaska-class ships in terms of her other characteristics. Designed in 44, I guess this one was never laid down. Now, I have only played one game in this ship. Ended that game with 8,322 XP total. So, let's get right into it. We're on the Atlantic, on the middle spawn in the back on the south side. For definitely not my favorite map, I cannot complain too much about this spawn. We're top tier, a couple of battleships on the enemy team, but a lot of cruisers, and that's what I like to see. So when I get lined up on this spawn, my first play is to sail forward and to the left a bit and get up to that island so I can get cover from everybody crossing over to A, crossing back to B, but I can still fire at B and a little bit towards C because everyone likes to flip it broadside right there. So if I can get in, get those spots, and get some shots off, it's usually profitable right off the rip. .1 main battery firing range with refill station active. It's nice. And actually a 9.5 kilometer radar is decent at tier 7. Kutuzov is the first ship spotted. Decently close off my bow, I can turn my ship, get the front guns on him. Right at the moment I'm getting spotted across mid. So I'm going to take a cheeky shot at Kutuzov. I'm going to start angling back in to evade any shells coming from the middle here. And we have the Ochakov shooting at us first, and the Zeton I think is going to get a shot or two off at us. We get a cheeky Citadel on that Kutuzov as we fire the back turrets at the Zeton, take another cheeky shot at the Kutuzov, and then angle the Zeton shells here. Slow down, turn the ship, make them miss, and now we're pretty well into cover. The island covers us from the last of those shells from the Ochakov, and we are concealed. Now we know what's in mid, because they all showed their hand, shot at me. Kutuzov died quickly because he rushed a cap in front of a bunch of ships that weren't necessarily rushing the cap. And it's Jervis versus Jervis in middle. My money is on Jervis. My goal now is to get the guns on the right side of the ship, push straight into A, and angle away from this Leone and try to chunk him broadside, because I've got a feeling he's going to keep his ship pointed straight, anticipating torpedoes. For just a split second, the Mogami pops up behind that island, so I know he's going to be not too much of a threat, but certainly a problem that I'm going to have to deal with. As I come around the corner, this is a decently healthy Leone. He fires his back guns at somebody else, and in a beautiful showing of these 305mm guns. A 20k chunk, 7 penetrations, perfect accuracy. That was the salvo that made me fall in love with the performance of these guns. They're accurate, they hit hard, they actually reload decently fast. 16 seconds is not bad for 305s. There's battleships with 305s, the same tier, that don't reload that fast. Another decent chunk off the Leone. He's burning. I'm not going to worry too much about him. I'm just going to focus on keeping my bow pointed towards that Mogami so I can close the distance with him. Firing over my shoulder at the Ochakov, concealed by the smoke screen. Life is good. Mogami sends up a plane, so I've got a rough idea of where he is. Ochakov's playing with his rudder, so none of these shells are going to hit, but that's typical. Kind of flipping him back. There's Mogami. I got my sonar running because I know he's probably going to dump torps around this corner because I've been spotted forever. He's flipping the broadside. The torps are definitely coming, so I'm going to turn out to try to debate the torps, and then I'm going to start turning back in to dodge the torps because I know they're coming. Unfortunately, the cruiser behind me tipped off the Mogami to not sail broadside, so I don't get too big of a chunk, just 44-20 dank. Pump the brakes, flip the ship, speed back up, easy dodge. Now, I had the rudder turned one way. I'm going to flip it the other way because I know he's going to be sending torps off of this side now because he's got those rearward facing torpedo angles. So I'm going to try to get a bit of a broadside. I'm going to take a chunk out of his while he's sitting there broadside. And then I'm going to start turning back in. Citadel and 4 overpens. I could have aimed a little lower, might have dab struck him, but this is World of Overpens Legends after all, so I'm not surprised at all. Mogami's absolutely launched both sets of torps at me, trying to turn in, get facing towards me. I'm going to take a 7,300 chunk off him that time with these superior American penetration angles. And he dies to the Chappie. Very short-lived for the Mogami. Both sets of torps went by me. I'm about to drop spot. Might as well pop the heel, get rid of these fires. Controlled by an Ochakov right at the edge of your range. That's always fun. I think if you switched out the first skill commander perk, took off the AA, if you were confident you weren't going to get a carrier match, because having that first row skill, no fly zone, is really helpful. I'm pretty sure you could get this thing to approach 20 kilometers, because it hits 18.1 with refill station now. And you add, what is it, another 10%? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that'll be just shy of 20 kilometers. Managed to steal a Citadel from the Ochakov at his perfect Citadelable angle despite his no armor. Another pot shot at him. Bring the rear turret around for just another sneaky 2 more shells before I dip behind the island. Ochakov dies, and once again, a running theme this game, not to me. I didn't kill the Leone. I didn't kill the Mogami. But it's okay. I managed to do a lot of the damage to them. Sitting at 89,000 damage, 42 shell hits, and 3 Citadels right now. Faithfully firing AP. So far, the ship has impressed me. We're just going to play a little bit of Sailing Simulator here, try to get caught up to the other side. It's a 6 versus 4 right now. I wouldn't call it a steamroll, but it's definitely not looking good for them. They've lost 2 BBs. They've lost 3 cruisers, a destroyer, and a BB. We've lost 2 BBs and a DD. And a cruiser. Things are evening out a little bit. Brutesy shows himself, but he's angled, so I'm going to aim ahead a little bit. Just get a little piece of him, just a little penetration. Take another shot with the rear turret of Justice. And I see him starting to turn, so I hold it for just a second, manage a pen and a ricochet, and lead the guns to counter for his turn. And that's a better hit. A Citadel and... what was that? A Citadel, a pen, and an overpen? Bro got yote. So now we finally have our first kill at 106,000 damage, shooting at mostly cruisers the whole game, with the exception of Leone. Time to start farming this Zeton a little bit, taking advantage of that broadside and seeing how these shells pen at 15.5 kilometers. Unfortunately, Zeton starts turning out because he doesn't want to get penned in his broadside, but I pen him anyway and get my high caliber, 107k. Another shot at his stern, and then I got to put the HE in because he's going to be sitting like that for a minute. I'm not going to do much to him with the AP. I'd rather try to get a fire. Especially since that's absolutely what everyone else is trying to do. I enter the cap just in time to get some cap credit for it. That'll make it a second assist. And I'm keeping my eyes on this Amagi. Swinging the rear turret around. The turret traverse is not great. But me running the refill mod or the reload mod definitely doesn't help with my turret traverse. Honestly, it's not so bad. I'd rather have the guns loading faster than turning faster. If you were a cruiser that was, say, a torpedo cruiser, a little tankier, you were planning on brawling a little more often, I could understand wanting the guns to turn faster, but a ship like this, I don't think it's that important. We sneak one shell into the Benson before he drops spot, and I gotta make a plan for what I'm gonna do with this Amagi. This is a full health Amagi. He's pretty much bow into me. He's coming straight towards me. What I want to do is I want to park on this island and back around it. I want him to come around the corner broadside so I can get some juicy pens off of him. Hopefully not get deleted. Maybe Citadel him. I mean, these are Alaska guns, but the Citadel on the Amagi is decently tricky to hit at close range. I'm pretty sure it's got some kind of a turtleback armor scheme. There's something up with Amagi Citadel. It's hard to hit up close. It's really easy to hit at range, though. Amagi dev strikes the friendly Miyoko. I fire my guns into a rock. Nothing new. Now I wait for them to reload. Maybe if I held that salvo until about now, this might have gone differently for me, but we're just going to watch how this plays out. I know I've got a 27mm bow, but I'm trying to angle to him, but he aims specifically for my bow, doesn't even touch my side pelt, puts all of them straight through my bow armor, as if he knows what the armor scheme of the ship was going to look like. I managed to take a half-decent chunk out of him. And another half-decent chunk. Can't find the Citadel, though. I am over-penning him and penning him. We got 145,000 damage. Still a kill, but we've secured the high caliber and Confederate medals. 5 seconds till my guns load. Amagi's starting to angle in. Too late. Amagi kills me. That is a very good example of an actual good player in an Amagi. Pushing in when he needs to, taking the angle that he needs to, sacrificing a bit of hit points, and just aiming the guns where the shells need to go. If he had been trusting his auto-aim, or if he had been any less of a player and fired all those shells directly at my belt, I probably would have ruined him, but he knew how to aim, and I gotta commend him for that. So, we're sunk, but the game's pretty much over. Chappie's got a lot of health, Eugen not so much, but I'm confident in Chappie's ability to ruin the rest of the Zeton's day. If Zeton tries to run away, we still win on points. So, we're just gonna zippity-doo-dah skip. Eugen yoinks the kill with a fire, secures himself a dreadnought, and the battle ends. First game in this ship. Got a couple tiers in the campaign here because it was good XP game, good damage game. Finish up the game with 146,108 damage, 67 shell hits, 1 ship spotted, 1 plane shot down because there was no carriers this game, 2 incapacitations, 1 kill because they all got stolen, 4 citadels, 2 assisted caps, 7 secondary hits, Confederate, high caliber. To top it all off, 3,048 base XP. It's probably not the highest XP you're going to see in the ship, and it's definitely not the highest you're going to see today. I know Chili put up a game pretty much the same time I played this one, called 33-31, I think, and pretty much the same damage. So I'd say this is a decent ballpark for where the performance of the ship is going to be. It's a good, I wouldn't call it average. It definitely won't be average, but it's a good ballpark for the lower end of the top end of the ship. I'm sure there's going to be a 4K game before the end of the day, but this is just the first game I played in this ship. Honestly, it's impressed me. 8,322 XP, and there it is in my elite, my one and only game in the Congress. If you liked what you see, if you like the video, if you like anything about it, slap like, or don't, I don't care. If you like seeing ships and videos and things of the sorts, or you just feeling like a nice guy today, you can subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.